Spence. Just if in case you didn't know, you can get Pimping Craigslist, Storage Auctions 101, the new Storage Auction Buyer's Handbook, and the Ultimate Garage Sale, and the porn is always in the DVD player on Kindle. Also, there's another deal going on. If you have bought the porn is always in the DVD player, or you're going to buy it before August 30th, I am going to be doing a informational webinar. That's the ticket in. You buy the book, you get in. How do I know that you bought the book on Kindle? Since that's the only place you can get it. Send me a copy of the receipt to the email address below. The porn is always in the DVD player at urbanpackrat.com, and you're in. Now to a crazy, crazy, crazy ass video. Hey, this is Glendon with another crazy Craigslist story. This shit's a trip. Title of this joint: Slick and Smooth, the friendly couple. The real friendly fucking couple. This is kind of one of the reasons that I got away from deliveries. In the beginning, I had to do it because, we just didn't have the money to pay someone, and it just maximized it. But in the process of doing the deliveries, so many things happened. People wouldn't have the money, people would play games, or people would try to renegotiate the terms after you delivered the stuff. Fortunately, this wasn't a common occurrence, but because of our volume and it was always out there, the more you do, the more shit that happens. Well, had this couple come into the store, and this is when we had the store on Lawrenceville Highway. Now, I saw them come in, and they had that peculiar look about them. When you own the store or you're somewhere where you're at the counter, you just kind of watch people and you just kind of size them up, because pretty much that's going to help you make a sale, because it's like who you're dealing with. Sometimes you note what they drive up in, who they're with, the conversation. And these two, they walked in, they were holding hands, wedding bands. So, okay, nice, happy, nice looking married couple. And they come in and it's like, oh, this place is so nice. You have so many unique things. I was like, well, thanks. And it's like, what's back there? Can we go back there? Because the place was kind of weird. In the front, we had like the smalls. And because the door was like this freaking wide, they had all the furniture items in the back. And they go back, oh my God, look at this cabinet. I bought a unit. It had a bunch of Asian furniture. Really nice stuff, rosewood. And it takes a particular customer that appreciates that stuff. And they like it, and they start oohing and ahhing. And it's like, excuse me. And I go back there, and I talk to them, and it's like, it seems like these pieces, because it was a rosewood bedroom set, it was like, these things seem to go together. I say, they do. And she was just like really, really keyed in on it. She's like, I really want this. And he just elbows her. It's like, yeah, don't say that with the guy right here, honey. Ha 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 ha. Chuckles and laughs all around, right? I was like, I don't care. And it's like, oh, give us a moment. And they're sitting there talking. And I was like, what's your best offer? And this was, fortunately for me, a unit that I had so much fat in it. The unit only cost me $600. Had made probably like $2,000 at that point. I mean, anything was going to be profit, but it was a nice set. It was unique. And I was like, if you go up on Jimmy Carter to one of those Asian stores, this is going to be $6,000, $7,000. And she just kind of like, it's like they had been there. They knew I wasn't lying. And I was like, well, $3,000, and I'll include free delivery. And that's like, and she's like, you take credit cards? I say, she needs right up front. Go up there, complete the transaction. Now, if you know anything about rosewood, it's pretty light. It's real light. I was going to do this delivery myself because I asked them, I was like, oh, just a quick tip. If you're going to do deliveries, ask, are there any stairs? Any. And when you say any, it's like, not the stoop. If there's 3, 4, anything that's an elevation is a stair. And she said, actually, we don't. We just got this nice ranch, and we live around the corner. And, I said, okay. Set up the delivery to do it after I closed. And while they were like looking around, my partner came in, told my partner what happened, and I started loading up the truck. because like, hey, might as well get this done as soon as possible. And it was close to closing time anyway. Well, I noticed that Slick and Smooth, you'll know more about why I call them Slick and Smooth a little later. They kept looking at me, and they kept looking at me. Then the woman comes up, and she's like maybe 5 foot nothing, brunette, and I'm gonna say averagely attractive. She's not an ugly woman, you know. She's not like drop dead gorgeous, but I wouldn't kick her out of bed, straight up. And she's like, "You are really a handsome man," and I'm sitting there like, "Isn't that right, honey?" And the husband's like, "Yeah, he's pretty good looking." And I'm just like, "Thanks," you know, because I just got $3,000 out these people, so I can't like really cop an attitude, but I really was feeling some kind of way. It was just like, ooh, what is this? That doesn't happen. You know, if a woman says something like that, she does not say it with her husband there and he agrees. And my partner, oh God, my partner was a devil. She's just like, they're gonna kidnap you and hog tie you, and you're gonna wake up with those balls in your mouth. They're gonna get you. Get you. When you go deliver the furniture, they're gonna be waiting for your butt neck. I was like, stop it, stop it, stop it. And I was like, no, no, no. So I loaded up the truck, and trepidation and dread was all. I was like, oh God, this is gonna be something, because that was just really too much. So I got there dressed, put in GPS, heading to the house, get to the house. It's a super nice house. It was a complete redo. I mean, the driveway was still like pressure washed. I mean, it was just pristine. I was like, oh, this is pretty nice. And I backed up the truck, and she comes out. And this is where it gets real interesting, or I should say more interesting. She's got on like this little silk robe that cuts off maybe mid-thigh. She's barefoot, and her hair's wet, and nipples are poking all out the silk, and I'm just sitting there like, and she just walks out the door. Oh, great. Well, I'm going to show you where you're going to take it, and go around the back, and there's this path past the garage all the way to the back, and then there's these double doors. And I was like, oh, she's like, yeah, that's the bedroom. And it was completely empty, and I was like, cool. And she's just walking and looking at me and just kind of like twirling her hair and everything, and I'm just sitting there like, I really wanted to ask her, do you always come outside naked like this? But I got the money, so I'm not going to say anything. So I'm pulling stuff out. It's easy. I'm putting it in a room and I'm arranging it and everything. And at this point, I have not seen the hubby. Don't know where he is. Don't know what's going on. And like I said, I'm still feeling some kind of way because she has made no effort to put clothes on. She's still walking around. She did something. She bent over, saw she had. I'm doing this. I'm sitting there like, I am not going to jail today. I am not going to jail today. And okay, and get the furniture in and everything. Then the hubby shows up. I don't know where he was, what he was doing, but he has on a similar robe. And he looks moist. Really moist, like he had been working out or spritzing or whatever, and he comes up, hey dude, how are you doing? And then they get that Stepford Wives look, and they're both like real close to each other, and they're like, you are so handsome. Yes, you really are. And they both say it at the same time, and I was like, well, thanks, but there's your furniture, you're happy, I gots to go. And there's like, well, one thing before you go. And at this point, I should say my partner was extremely astute, a very good judge of character, and she wasn't 100% correct, but she was partially correct. So, dude does this. He grabs her robe, opens it up. She's naked like I thought, and he lets it drop to the floor. He said, what do you think about this? I am like in a real particular place here. And I'm like, I'm like, your wife's lovely. And then She's not my wife. She's not your wife? No, she's my girlfriend. We just wear the rings because it makes it easier. It's like, okay, it makes it easier, all right. And he's like, well, back to the business at hand. Do you like my girlfriend? I was like, she's nice. She's very attractive. She was. I mean, she looked better naked than she did with clothes on. I can't lie. Very taut, very, very firm. Then, just when it couldn't get any weirder, this other person who's at the house just walks into the room. And I say person because I don't know if it was a man or a woman. I have no clue. It was definitely David Bowie straight up, and it talked funny, and I'm just like, and they're like, oh, he is tasty. At this point, I am at the door. I am outside talking to them because how many more people are gonna pop out of nowhere and it's just gonna go? I mean, here's this guy and his girlfriend. She's naked, and then this transgender person pops up out of nowhere. And they're very friendly, very polite. No one ever made a move toward me, but I am feeling weird as hell. The hair on the back of my neck is standing up, and I'm just like, okay, this house of horrors. What else is going to happen? Or I should say the house of orgies. And I'm just sitting out there, and they're like, don't be nervous. He just wants you to fuck her and watch. And I was like, I can't do that. And then they look at me, it's like, you can, or it's like you want to, but are you imprisoned by a relationship? That's what they said, imprisoned by a relationship. I was like, no, I don't actually have anyone. And it was like, great. I was like, look, thanks for buying the furniture, and I really appreciate it, but I can't do that. And then, she's like, I'm really sad because it looks like you have a big dick. And I was just like, it was weird. It was weird. I've talked to movers, and a lot of them have talked about this type of stuff, that if it's a woman, that the woman comes on to them and all this other stuff. But this blew my freaking mind. Okay, because I'm sitting there and I am like walking out and get into the truck, and they don't follow me anything. And I get back to the store, and my partner's like, what happened? And I was like, you were right. The only thing that didn't happen was the ball gag and me being hogtied, and she just fell out laughing. I was like, they look like swingers. I said, what do you know about swingers? She's like, I've known a few. They look like swingers. And I was like, they swinging all over the damn place. And when I told her what happened, and I was like, oh yeah. And then there's this other person that was there that I didn't know if it was a man or woman that just popped up out of nowhere. I was like, she was just doubled over because she's like, I just had a feeling. And you would think that would be the end of the story. Many weeks later, Slick and Smooth come back. And and this is the thing, I didn't spend a lot of time in the store. I did my best to stay out there in the field, getting inventory, getting stuff. And I'm sitting there like, how the hell would they know to come to the store this day? What? And they come in and they're like, hey, how you doing? I'm just like, hi. Hi, how you doing? And it's like, look, we just came by to, smooth things over because, you looked a little apprehensive. I'm like, look, I was terrified. I didn't know what the fuck y'all were going to do. I mean, seriously. Then you had transgender Ted pop up out of it. I'm like, it just was a weird situation. Then he's like, look, I understand, but we have another offer for you. I was like, oh, God. Well, like you take Slick, and that's how he called her. And she said, yeah, Smooth is going to permit me to go out with you. And I'm just like, what? What? Yeah, and it's like, yeah, y'all go on a normal date, and if you like her, then you can fuck her. I was like, I can't do this. And it's like, just think about it. And she reaches into her purse, and she pulls out a card, and it's Slick and Smooth Productions. That's what happened. Another crazy Craigslist story. Because they saw the ad on Craigslist and they came into the store, and that's why I'm putting it in this group of videos. But this shit it's been, God, 7 seven years, and I'm still feeling kind of like, ooh, that's too much. It's too much. It's too much. If I was 19, I ain't gonna lie, probably would have did it. Probably would have did it. Because like I said, I wouldn't have kicked her out of bed, but there was too many other things going on around that. All right, this is Glendon. Crazy Craigslist stories.